Hey, it's the Fort Worth Playboy.
Now try it.
Hey, it's the Fort Worth Playboy.
And my Playboys Bunny.
And welcome to today's podcast where we discuss pickup, game, relationships, and...
Sex. And we're very excited about it.
And today we're going to talk about three categories: over texting, oversharing, and over sexting.
Yeah.
So these are all logistical mistakes that guys make with texting before you bang a girl.
Yeah,
All
the key.
All of this is from whether you get their number off the street, they're in a social circle,
Meet them at the gym,
online,
whatever.
anywhere, and online. Is all these things that we're talking about pertain up to when you start having sex with her?
Yeah.
Because after that, the dynamics change a bit. You know?
I'm a big fan of over-sexting after you fucked.
Yeah. I mean, and we're going to talk about like why it's a bad idea before.
Yeah.
Because it can screw up your whole game. So, over texting, which we see a lot of guys get very, very frustrated when they're pulling girls, because like if you're doing an online game, which most guys do. I mean, like 80% of the guys that listen to this will have ran online game at some point, and you should run.
You have to start somewhere, and it's a great tool.
Yeah, and you can practice.
Yeah,
you can practice your text game that you use everywhere else a lot online, but getting them first off the app and onto texting, like phone to phone, and then getting them in front of you, because that's the purpose of getting girls information. Why do you text them in the very first place? Is to set up logistically to get them in front of you.
Absolutely.
And that's how you have to look at it. Your only purpose is to share logistics and get them in front of you, because girls do better online. Men do better in person.
Absolutely. 1,000%.
Because when you're on text and before she's had sex with you, she's looking for a reason to disqualify you. Mm-hmm. And the more you talk, the more pictures you send, the more bullshit, the greater the chances of her getting turned off.
Seriously.
So the less she has to work with, the better. Because then in her mind, she's imagining.
Yeah. She can be looking through your pictures over and over and over
She's
and over
going
and
through
over
your
again.
shit.
You know, all of this stuff. She can imagine what you're like, which is actually better.
Yeah. And that's where it remains a mystery. So when you contact, you're starting contact with a girl text-wise, it's try to focus in on logistics.
Yeah.
Girls are going to want to have a little bit of back and forth, but you need to keep it focused on getting her in front of you. And girls tend to respect that there's going to be two categories of guys. Guys that they can use for attention, and guys that are serious about fucking them. And you're in the second category.
Yeah.
And that's okay, because they'll respect your time. And guys are busy. They don't want a guy that's constantly available.
No.
And constantly chatting with them. So let her take most of the, initiative when necessary. But logistically, that's what you're using the phone for before you have sex with her. Is simply setting up dates. If she reaches out to you, well, hey, maybe meet up for wine at 7 o'clock on Wednesday.
Yeah.
I mean, and then get the hell off the phone.
Yeah.
So that's what, you want to appear, but get off the phone before she does.
Yeah.
So that's how you use.
Prevent over-texting.
Prevent over-texting is only look at it logistics. The texting is for logistics.
Yeah.
2 is oversharing. If they do suck you into some type of conversation, don't talk about anything that you wouldn't talk about in person.
No.
Don't talk about politics. Don't talk about your boil. Don't talk about the STD you had. Don't talk about your ex-wife.
No.
The problems you're having with your kids.
No.
None of it. Yeah, I mean, if she wants to throw stuff out there, you can kind of like let her go on and on. But just remind her, and this is how you kind of cut some of this stuff short, is just go, I would love to hear about this, but I want to hear about it in person on Wednesday.
Exactly.
I mean, and that way you're polite, to the point, and girls kind of get that. Because most of their life, they've had people cutting them off and going, okay, we've talked enough now. We've got to go to class.
But it's not rude. It's
No.
a good way to say, I'm looking forward to actually having a conversation in person.
I want to hear this. And they understand. There's guys that are no nonsense, and girls tend to respect that. You know, if they want a fun, frivolous, I mean, they've got a phone full of beta guys that'll be more than happy to entertain them for hours on end. For sure. And then she meets up with you and has sex with you. And that's the most important thing. So oversharing is the number 2 thing, because, again, they're looking for a reason to disqualify you.
Right.
What else? What do you think the main topics that turn women off, knowingly or unknowingly, would be?
I think bitterness over ex relationships are the number 1 thing, because a lot of stuff just comes out, and in person or in text, but especially in text when you don't even know the person, stuff that you don't necessarily mean all that harsh everything in text comes across very flat or negatively. So always keep that in mind, anything you're texting. But yeah, I would say the number 1 turnoff for girls is a guy who, number 1, doesn't shut up about his ex. Number 2, what he does mention is just nothing but negative. And I think you did a great job with this whenever I was like, so what happened? Everybody's swapping stories. And you just said, we were together for a long time and it didn't work out in the end, and I wish her well. She's doing great. Something along those lines. And that's all there was to it. It was like, oh, thank God. Thank God this guy's not going to spend the next 45 minutes railing on what a horrible ex-wife he has.
No matter how your relationship or your divorce went through, you want to come across as mentally healthy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, no matter how bad it was, you've set it aside, you wish her well, and you've moved on.
Yeah. It's not mentally healthy. That's a good way to put it. Mentally healthy.
Yeah. That you've processed,
Yeah.
And they'll ask, girls are going to gauge, they're going to be like, how long have you been divorced? Like 6 months or a year. But the second part, where you just pretty much present it as done.
Yeah.
Negates whatever time has passed.
Right.
It's like, great.
Exactly.
Because she's had some horror stories, and she's experienced horrible dates where the guy goes off on, he's unhappy about his kids or his job, or because they just drink too much and it just starts coming out.
It's true.
But the bitterness, I think, is a very important
bitterness
thing.
And bitterness comes across, whether it's talking about an ex, whether it's talking about frustration with the kids, whether it's talking about a job, whether it's talking about the weather,
any bitterness,
anything like that you can just tamp that bitterness back a little bit is a win.
Don't let it leak. The third thing, which is the entire reason that we started to go down this road with this, because one of our clients who's been doing extremely well with online game, he's had a couple of flakes. And flaking can happen from oversharing, over texting, but especially from over sexting.
Yeah.
I personally try to stay away from, you're pretty direct as it is, using some of our stuff.
Yeah.
But I try to stay away from too much sexual innuendo at all. I'd rather do it in person.
Yeah.
But what he's running into, and what a lot of men have ran into, they go, man, this girl's like just lighting my phone up with all this sexting, and she sent me nudes, and
Right.
And then when we were supposed to meet up, and they've never met up before, she flaked on me.
Right.
She stood me up.
Or she canceled at the last minute.
And there's reasons for this. And the reason is that, one, all of a sudden there's the expectation that she's supposed to have sex on that first date.
Yeah. I think a lot of girls are having trouble then living up to the expectation that they've kind of built up.
Exactly. 2, they get embarrassed.
Yeah.
And they start feeling kind of like, well, I'm not a slut.
Yeah.
And I don't want to send all this stuff. And then, because, you're already talking about girls that like question, should I sleep on the first date or, second date? And they've already done all this. And there's the expectation there. And they don't want to get into a room with you or like into a bar or club. And then you're expecting to take them back home.
Right.
And they're trying to leave.
Right.
Because they had no intention.
Yeah.
and now it's ugly.
Well, and the bottom line is, I see how it happens because it's 10 o'clock at night. Maybe you've had a drink, you've had a long day, you're finally shutting down for the evening or whatever, and you're chatting up this neat new person that, you know, that you're pretty turned on by. And adult conversation turns sexual. But I do agree with what you were saying about even the innuendo is a little bit dangerous on the front end.
Yeah. I mean, you know,
you can have it in person because then you can play it and read the room a little bit.
Completely different.
But on text, it does get a little bit tricky.
That's where the oversexting is just like, I mean, and we've talked about this before. When a girl sends you nudes unsolicited, and you've never asked, and you've never even met her.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a shit test, and it's beta bait. Is this guy going to go, oh my God, you know, you're so hot, and those tits look so firm.
Yeah.
What we always recommend is you get nudes in your phone every day. This is nothing new. And usually pick something out in the background and go, where did you get those chairs?
Yeah.
Or, my God, you need to pick that shit up.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, or, man, that is one dirty mirror.
Yeah.
Any of these, nothing about her. Always about something in the background. Or a small thing that can be changed. Not like she needs to fix her hair or anything.
Yeah.
But just something like that diverts the attention and it kind of like resets things. Does that make sense? It's kind of like fucking with her, and it's good for them because what they're really testing is, will this guy like start losing his mind?
Exactly.
And if you do, you're off the list.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
So nudes, that sort of thing, oversexing, they want to see how hard up you are, and because you, in your head, whether you're doing it or you just had sex with another girl anyway.
Yeah.
You're not that needy.
Yeah.
Girls love a man who's satisfied.
Yeah. You need to come off as not needy, and by spilling over into like a pre-sexting, over-sexting game before you've even met up with her, it just naturally comes across. Now, make no mistake, this client that we've been talking about, or that, kind of preempted this conversation, has had great success as well.
Exactly.
It's kind of the dichotomy of you either get the fucker or you get a drink in your face.
Right.
It really is. It's very
we're
bold.
fine-tuning that now.
Yeah.
But this has been a common
Yes.
complaint of guys. It's like, man, she was like, just sexting me and sending me all this stuff, and then she didn't even show.
Yeah.
If you can get them to show 99% of the time, it's going to get good.
Yeah.
But again, it's usually a shit test. Mm-hmm. Beta guys will take the bait hard, and you don't. Again, you're sexually entitled. You expect to have sex.
Yeah.
This is just something. So you don't get that worked up about it.
Yeah.
You're direct, but when you're in person, they can pick that up off of you more.
Yeah.
That
for sure.
you're more comfortable and you're used to having sex with good-looking women, and this is just normal. Yeah. So that's why being in person is to your advantage.
Absolutely. Yeah. Guys are always better in person.
So again, you want these girls to show up the first time so you can actually do your thing in person. So no over texting, no oversharing, and no over sexting. You'll probably see before. After the sex, after you bang her a couple of times, can it kind of get lock in? The rules change because the momentum starts going in our favor.
Yeah, absolutely.
So guys, if you like this, please hit the thumbs up button, subscribe to our channel.
We want you to win. Oh, what?
The newsletter.
There's
also, if you want more of this,
like
in written form and podcast, subscribe to our newsletter. It's down below in the comment section, and we'll be in your inbox once, maybe twice a week.
Yeah.
Get this stuff first.
I love it. I love it. We want you to win.
Have a great day.
Bye.